can't, like, this is not going to work here. And I see it
Yeah.
all the time. I see it all the time. I see people I speak to a year later, they're still in the same boat, saying the same things, complaining about the
And
same problems. And I said, I
yeah,
gave you a plan. I said, I would have helped you for free. I'm really easy to get along with. I'm really easy to help people. Just if I give you something and you do it and come back for more, I'm like, okay, do it again. Like, I'm not gonna. And if you want me to work with you, then we work on it. But I'll give. It's probably the same thing for you, Addy. If someone asks you for advice, right, and you
okay,
tell them something, and they do it really well, and they come back to you, you're like, okay, do it again.
yeah,
You're probably gonna
yeah,
feel great because
yeah,
we
of
like
course.
it. And then eventually you may charge them, but like it's so easy if you just do it. But
Yeah. Most
okay,
people, I think, I would just guess that, and you'll tell me if it's true, that most people will tell you, can I hire someone to do it? Do I need to do it? Why is it important that I'm seen? Can I hire someone to present me, someone to do the videos, someone to do the sales?
sure,
What would
sure.
you tell them?
Well, yeah, I think there's two ways to answer that question. I think if the frame is, if the context is, I need support and help, I totally get it. Just like you, Addy, just like me, we work with a lot of people that have no time. I get it. That's the kind of people I attract. So yeah, you pay other people to do your work, just like you pay a maid, you pay a chef, you pay a trainer. But there's a difference between paying someone to help you and then paying someone to do all the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in this space that I work with, a lot of people think that you're going to basically carry them on their back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to do the hard work. That's
Well, I'm going to do their business. I'm like, so I'll tell people like, hey, this relationship here, I'm your support. I will take a lot of the weight from you, but you need to be the one to lift the weight.
yeah.
A lot of
So
people,
you
yeah,
you're actually telling them this is what you need to do because I believe that this is the right thing for your business to
yeah,
be a brand as a person, not only as a clinic for
yeah,
in that case.
yeah. Well, look, we work with this wealth advisory firm. We work with a lot of startups, and I like startups because I like the creativity. I like that people have a really core passion. They've got the childlike, oh, I really want to do this. That I'm very fascinated by new ideas, and I feel a big problem they have is obviously raising money, right?
Sure.
So they've got the idea, they've got the team, they need to raise money, and I give them a plan, I give them the strategy, I give them some things, but at the end of the day they have to still go out to the event, they still have to go out and meet the guy or the girl to give them the money, they still have to pitch, they still have to close, they still have to follow up. And a lot of them think that people are just going to give them money because their idea is good,
Yeah.
like, or they're, oh well, we've got a great deck. I'm like, no one cares. Like, I'll help you, but you got to still be the one to go close it, because if people are just going to give you money and it was that easy, wouldn't we all be doing it?
Hopefully, if we could do that. But what you're saying that you're helping them with presenting the deck, the pitching itself.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah, I will consult the company or the startup group as much as I can. I'll give them press to give them credibility, so when someone googles them, oh, they're featured in Forbes, they're featured in Huffington Post, they're okay,
Mm.
great, so they're credible, they're not going to scam me, they're not just a bunch of young boys or young girls or young teen that don't know what they're talking about. Second thing is, I'm going to at least clean up their digital presence. If I have $18 million to give to someone and I Google them and I see them on Facebook or Instagram partying, you think that's going to make, nah,
Yeah.
nah. It's because I'm going to give them 4 mil for first seed. And then are they going to party with my money? Are they going to go on a boat in Miami? The messaging is really important. Like, people will make a judgment like that. When I
Yeah.
walk into a store here in Miami and I dress like this most days, do you think people are less likely to talk to me, or they're more likely to talk to me? More likely, because I represent myself. This is how I am. I'm not saying you have
Yeah.
to wear a suit, but people make judgments, Addy, like that. And
Yeah.
when you're trying to get the biggest problem like sold, which is raising money, and they see one thing online, it, you could lose them just like that. They go, I know.
Yeah, it's so hard just to think about, because when you're 15 or 16 or even 20, you're not thinking about these things, that when I'll be 25 or 30, I would want to whatever, to open a
Yeah,
business, to get a startup done, whatever.
yeah,
And then you say, okay, is it relevant or not? My young life as a student is the same as, like, do I need to hide these in order
yeah.
to be more
Yeah,
uh,
it's it's not about, and I wouldn't say it's about, because people say, well, I want to share my life. I'm like, yeah, I know you do, but people don't have the time to decide whether it, like, what kind of person you are. You have one shot, one image, one perception. Like, do the right thing. So yeah, I would say, like, we give them the plan, we give them the steps, we show them the right moves, and then I just let them go. Because
yeah.
if Addy, if you and I, if we have to go create the deck, close the deal, get the money, I might as well just do my own. Do it. Why? Why am I giving you this? I said that to people all the time. I'm like, man, what you want, I might as well become the lawyer, because it
Yeah.
seems like I'm doing 95% of it. I work. It's funny sometimes, because sometimes people expect, they want someone to do all the work. They want a manager. Hey
Sure.
man, you do everything and I'll just show up. I'm like, why don't I just do the business? Why don't I just hire someone as talent, and then and then do it myself? It happens to me with podcasts. I have some people that ask me about helping them build their podcast, and I tell them, and that they really just want to show up and be the star, which is fine. I love that,
Yeah.
but I'm like, listen, I might as well go hire the talent, because
Yeah.
I'll make more money and I'll have more fun because I
Yeah.
control this. So
Yeah. I think that most people, they are thinking about what they are used to doing. Let's say if you're a CEO and you come from software in startup, you think that most of the talent related to technology and to whatever is the main topic is the most important part, and maybe you need some talented people around you. But actually, if you want to really succeed, there are talents that you would not consider in your main expertise that are needed. And therefore, the product or the talented people around you is not enough at that case.
yeah. Well, and coming back to personal branding, when people get to know your personal brand, guess what happens? You attract great people. All
I
this
think
stuff.
it's really hard when I think we're talking this hard, but I'm thinking about I'm working mainly with technology companies
Right.
and startups in Israel, and it's a very specific I would say population working with technology in startups in Israel, and on one side they're very sure of themselves, sometimes too much,
Mm,
on the other side, it seems that they are not always understanding that they're selling all the time. You're not selling only when you're going to a VC or only when you're hiring someone in your company.
yeah.
You're actually selling yourself as part of the deal,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
hard. It's challenging for them.
Every investor, every high end fund manager that I meet, every conference I speak at, when people are giving money away, the number one thing they say is, I don't invest in the product, I invest in the person. Everyone. And
Yeah,
that makes me really understand how important it is for people to trust you and like you and get to know you, because it's
yeah,
I do all the time, right? And I think people are smarter now. They want to know the CEO behind the startup. What does he stand for? What does she do on the weekends? Is she married? Is she out on a boat? Was partying? Like, people want to get to. They're not just going to, like, throw cash at something, right? Even if you give money to the fund managers are going to need to do more due diligence, because it's their reputation on the line. So they're going to go, hang on a second, how much history does this guy have? What has this girl done?
yeah,
So I agree with you 100%. It's the same in San Francisco. Same when I lived in San Francisco, everybody thinks they're like the hot shot. And
yeah.
back
Some
in
of them are.
And some of them
Okay.
are. And back in the day, yeah, you could go get a $250,000 check over dinner. I've heard stories, right? First-hand stories of like, yeah, I met some guy at lunch. We went for dinner. He wrote me a check, literally like, yo, here's the money, right? We'll do the contract in the morning. And those things
Yeah.
happen. However, it's a little bit different now.
Why
People,
do you
people
think it's different?